Successful is all about self-definition, which is what I was saying at the beginning. You have to decide who you want to be. And if you wanted to be Joe Schmo and you pull it off, then you'll be a pretty happy, content person. To decide who you want to be. I think the people who are miserable, it's the gap between their expectations and their reality. That's where the misery lies. Yeah. My expectations were always enormously high. Even when I was a nobody, I knew I had to be filthy rich and a kickboxer, and I knew I had to be the kind of guy that people gave a shit.
Were you happy at that point?
I know, but I knew I'm basic things. At the age of 15, I knew that if I'm the kind of guy that if I raise my voice, people are going to care. I'm not going to be the guy who starts shouting and everyone thinks it's funny. I know I'm going to be the kind of guy who is genuinely a formidable opponent in all realms of human endeavor. I know I'm going to have money. I know I'm not going to take shit.
Where did that come from, though?
But you can't just. Yeah, I know.
I understand what you're saying, because my whole life I felt like there's always more. I know that there's more.
But I think a lot of people have that.
Of course.
But the people who are miserable are the people who don't try hard enough to obtain it, because I actually believe, and this is another thing I'll say, I believe the universe is very giving. I think the universe and God himself is very giving. I've yet to meet somebody in all my years who is genuinely giving 100% of themselves day after day, doesn't snake anyone, firm handshake, look you in the eye, doesn't lie to nobody, and tries 100% who doesn't get what they want. I've never seen it. Every single person who doesn't have what they want, there's something in their story that doesn't quite add up. I've yet to see some guy who, have you ever seen a guy who eats right and trains his ass off and never misses a gym session ever not grow?
No,
ever.
No, never.
Not
ever.
what? Not what?
Grow.
Not grow. Not make
ever.
gains.
It's just, that's the way the universe works, right? So if you're truly about it and you're truly trying your absolute best, you're going to do it. And that's what I believe. I believe the universe is extremely giving. So when I meet somebody and they go, I really wanted this and I don't have it, I say, you didn't really want it. You're a liar.
Out of all like the successful people, most successful people in the world, would you say that all of them have like something in common in the sense of like some sort of hardship in their life? It's not.
Well, yeah. I mean, trauma is extremely important. And this actually goes back into answering the first part of your question, which is interesting. There's a study I read about stress. And it was saying that stress has a placebo effect attached to it, because the placebo effect is extremely powerful. So they found some of the most stressed people in the world, and they split them into two groups, and they're all equally stressed. They all have a bunch of cortisol in their blood. Yeah. The people who believed that stress was bad for you and that stress can hurt you, and they believed those media articles, were dying earlier. They were having heart attacks and they were having stress-related illnesses. The people who believe the opposite, who just said, stress is part of being successful. I like stress. When I feel stressed, I do my best. It makes me anxious. It turns my brain on. I like being stressed. Lived longer than average. Yeah. The point is, the same drug, how you look at it and how your body anticipates it, how you feel about it, affects the real world results.
I'd say jealousy is the number one, because a lot of people reach out to you, right? Would you say that's the number one spark for motivation?
Well, I don't think motivation is a real thing. I don't believe in motivation as a concept. I think discipline is real, and I also think discontentment is real. And I don't think it's possible for anybody to stay in a scenario where they're truly uncomfortable. If you fall asleep on your arm and your arm really starts to hurt, even in the deepest sleep, you're going to wake up and move your arm. If you sit there and your life has been in a rut for 7 years, you are semi-comfortable in that rut. Sure, there's days you're pissed off. Sure, you're semi-annoyed by it. But there's also days where you just play video games, eat pizza, and you're kind of cool with it, and it's no big deal. If you were truly unhappy and uncomfortable and discontent with your scenario, you wouldn't be in it. So I don't believe there's anybody who's truly, when I was broke, I couldn't sleep. Yeah. I'm not saying that, please understand me. When I was broke, I couldn't sleep. I'd be trying to go to bed thinking, how the fuck these people have Ferraris? I want a fucking Ferrari. I couldn't sleep.
How do you think men can build more confidence in like deciding their life instead of just letting it be decided for them?
Yeah, so they have to take absolute responsibility, which is the first thing. The second thing, they have to get competence, and competence is going to allow you to have confidence. You're not going to be good at shit if you're bad at shit. You have to be good at things. You're only going to be confident at things if you're good at things. I know what I'm good at and what I'm bad at. So you have to go out there and take risks. And you have to make mistakes, and you have to risk it all. And once again, this comes down to competition. I think competition is such an important thing in the masculine world. Yeah. I grew up in the chess world, then I went into the fighting world. It was all extremely competitive. It's competition driven. You can't make excuses. If I sit here and say I lost a fight, cool, you lost the fight. But I lost the fight, but my gloves, when they were wrapped up, my hand was hurting, and then they
excuses.
Bro, you lost, G. Yeah. Like, no one gives a fuck. Yeah. Like, you have to understand that excuses don't matter. Nobody cares. Life's binary. Winners or losers. And you just have to take absolute responsibility for all of it.
Playing victim is it's an
easy way out.
Yeah, it's a laziness.
It's a laziness. It's an easy way out. It's a good excuse. And it also makes you feel better about yourself. Me and my brother have another thing we do. We do this all the time. If either of us are ever complaining about anything, we say, we shut each other up by saying, do you want therapy? Because if you don't want therapy, what are you talking about it for?
Sure.
And the main reason people complain about things is to get a dopamine rush, right? I'm unhappy, but if I sit there and I complain about it and you give me a little bit of sympathy, I feel better.
Yeah.
Right? So you get dopamine. That's why they're complaining for dopamine. If someone comes to me and complains about something, the best thing I can do for them, because I'm a philanthropic, nice man, because I'm Mr. Nice, is tell them to get fucked. But a lot of this comes down to your social circle. Because there's a whole bunch of guys out there whose friends accept excuses.
Hell yeah.
If your friends will allow you to make excuses, you're going to make excuses. If your family let you make excuses, you're going to make excuses. You're going to complain and feel better. You got to be around killers who don't accept that shit. If me and let's say me and 3 friends, there's 4 of us, and we all decide to do 10,000 push-ups a day, and all of us do them except one, there's no words inside the human language. There's no sentence he could possibly construct, no matter how compendious or concise or how intelligent the man is, that will allow us to forgive him for failing. You failed. Oh, but I was busy, dada. We did them. You're a bitch. Shut up. We don't accept excuses. That is it.
It's true.
So next day he's gonna go, well, they ain't gonna listen to my bullshit. I better just fucking do it.
How do
so
you,
that's the bottom line.
How can I be bored of something that you've never even tried? Doesn't that instill you to want to try harder with your life? Are you really so far below me? Did God really create you as such an inferior specimen that I'm going to go through life doing things that I'm completely and utterly bored of via repetition that you never once get to experience ever? If that does not inspire you to try harder, then there's something wrong with
And what I would also say is, look at yourself in the mirror, analyze your strengths and weaknesses. And to most of you watching this, because you're fans of us and you're trying to better yourself, let me promise you something. There are men less intelligent and less deserving than you flying on private jets. How's Wizz Air? How's Ryanair? Are you having fun? There are men nowhere near as smart as you who fly on private jets everywhere. It's about seizing the initiative.
Completely true. Isn't that crazy? Genuinely think about that. I have a Bugatti which follows me around the world so I don't have to use Uber because they banned me. And once again, you have never flown a car on a jet. You do not have a car like this. And what's worse of all is that you don't have a plan to get these things. There is nothing good that is going to happen in your life by accident. If you look at a guy in fantastic shape in the gym and you say, how'd you get in such good shape? He's not going to say, oops, I don't know. He's going to tell you exactly how he did it. He had meal plans. He trained. He got up early. He went to the gym. He did his cardio, etc.
Hopefully he didn't take steroids.
Hopefully he didn't take steroids. Every single thing good that's going to happen to you in your life must be very, very purposeful. So when I ask you, do you want to be rich? And you say, yes, I do. I say, what is your plan to become rich? And you say, I don't know. Then the chance is now 0. If you truly wanted to become rich like you said you did, then you would have a plan to make it happen. If you have a 0% chance of achieving something, then you don't want it very hard. You must be in a mind state where you understand that things must be planned for and prepared for. This is how life works. So I meet a lot of people who say to me, oh, bro, I'd love to be rich. I say, okay, cool. How are you going to do it? Don't know, man. Then it's not going to happen. Think of every bad decision you've ever made and see the emotion involved. Your mind must be stronger than your feelings. The point is this. If you truly want to win, you can't only want to win when you're happy, and you can't only want to win when you're motivated, because you're competing against people like me who want to win all of the time. And unfortunately, it's player versus player. Every single girl that you want, every single dollar that you want, I also want. You're competing against men like me who will perform even when it's raining, not only when the sun is shining. And if you're going to be the kind of person who can only do it in one of those scenarios, you are going to lose. You must be prepared to perform all of the time. I have a lot of people who message me and say, oh, I struggle with motivation. And my answer is simple. Then stay a loser. If you can't find the motivation to not be a loser, then I strongly recommend you just stay a loser, stay in your lane, and stay out of my way. Yeah. I have no time for people who cannot find the motivation to fix themselves and fix their own lives. I've been the kind of person who will perform 7 days a week. Doesn't matter how I feel, doesn't matter what's happened, doesn't matter if I'm happy or sad, things must be done. And this is the mindset you need to adopt if you want to be a winner.